The most important thing we can do, the most important thing that we can do for the students, for the activists, for the people of Iran is demonstrate unity here. Peace! 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 I'm sure that with a unified voice. Now, I'm a proud Canadian, I'm a proud Iranian. This is an important moment around the world, and this is an important moment for us. And I can't stress more than I did last week, but the world is watching. The world is not just watching what's happening in Iran, but the world is watching the way we Iranians react as well. And we have to maintain an educated, democratic, peaceful, united front. خیلی خوب کاری کردی که امروز آمدیم. واقعا خوب کاری کردی. نظر میخوام که بازی من عالی نیست، رئیس هم میکنم. واجبه که ما با اون جوانای تو ایران، به جمعیت ایران، واسه دنیا ما اینجا بگیم که ما اینجا هستیم واسه آزادی ایران و هر کاری لازمه که بکنیم ما میکنیم. Now let's just take a breath here from our sloganeering and just take a second and think about what's happened over the last week. Because this time last week when we met at Mel Lastman Square, we were still talking about an election. And we were still talking about whether it was fraudulent or not. And let's be honest, we don't even know. We don't know the exact, nobody knows the exact count anywhere. Most of us suspect that something doesn't look right. But we don't exactly know. But things have changed over the last week. This is no longer, if it ever was, about an election. Brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, this is now about human rights. There are no sides here. There's only one side, and that is the right to free assembly, free speech, democratic vote in Iran. One side, unity. 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 Now, this goes way beyond, as you know, and the Iranians in the crowd, you know this better than anybody. This goes way beyond any one candidate. This is not about taking one side in an election. We've been dealing with this for a long time. This is about a movement for democracy. A movement, a global movement that Iranians in Iran are now leading. Now, I said something last week that I somewhat want to retract, or I want to amend, because I spoke at Mel Lastman Square, and I said I was there for peace, and I said I was there as a proud Canadian and a proud Iranian, and I said I wasn't taking sides. I said I thought what was happening in Iran, the bubble bursting, the floodgates opening of young people, 70% under the age of 30, a yearning for democracy, smart young people in Iran were leading the way, and I thought it was a tipping point. Well, thank you, but you know what? I don't think I was right. It's more than a tipping point. They are changing the world. They are changing the world. And it's incumbent upon us not to intervene with our governments necessarily, or military or sectarian ideas. It is important for us to represent and respect the will of the Iranian people in Iran and in the diaspora. That's what we're here for. They are standing up for a world that will not be under the thumb of dictators and of theocracy, that will not practice the undoing of democracy in the name of religion anywhere in the world. I am calling today. I'm Iranian. My parents are Iranian. Many of you here are Iranians. I am calling for everybody around the world, and they've started to do it, as you know, on Twitter. People are starting to self-identify as Tehran, even if they're living in Kansas or Manchester or right here in Toronto. I'm calling for everybody around the world who believes in democracy, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, to say, I am Iranian. We can all be Iranians in this. And let me just share an anecdote, and if you just give me a moment, because I know a lot of you who are watching. I mean, it's not easy right now. You know, if you want any evidence that the election wasn't fair elections aren't usually defended by kidnapping, beating, torturing, arresting, and killing people. So, one of the things that they're doing is hampering, if not retarding, the process of journalists being able to get the message out. So a lot of us are watching videos that are taken by brave people in Iran on their camera phones and are being posted around the world. And one video really struck me yesterday. This happened yesterday. It was on the BBC site. And I think many of you probably saw this. And I can't say that I've ever seen something so, much like a metaphor for this crisis in general, so devastating and yet inspiring at the same time. And what it was a video of was a group of thousands and thousands of Iranians in Tehran, as you know, demonstrating against specifically undermining the request of Ayatollah Khamenei to not do so, demonstrating in the streets because they continue to believe they're on the side of the people in the majority, which is at this point pretty clear. They were demonstrating in the streets and they were tear gassed. There was smoke rising, people were running. You've seen a lot of these images. And what did the crowd do? And this is why I don't think we should take our lead from anybody who's speaking here today, or anybody, in fact, in the Iranian diaspora, or any global leaders, or even the great Barack Obama, nobody else. I think we should be taking our lead from the Iranian people on the streets. This is what they did. This is what these courageous people did. They spontaneously, as they were being tear gassed, mothers, children, fathers, students, together, they spontaneously started cheering, Natarsid, Natarsid, hame hastim. Natarsid, Natarsid, Let's just explain what that means to the small segment of the Canadian population who hasn't learned Farsi yet. They're working on it, but what that means is the direct translation that these courageous people in the streets had the presence of mind to erupt into saying in a unified voice, what they were saying was, don't be scared, don't be scared, together we are unified. And let that be the rallying cry for people around the world who are fighting for democracy. Let the rallying cry come from the people on the streets of Iran. Natarsid, Natarsid, hame hastim. Don't be scared, together we are unified. Thank you.